This is the Average to Savage podcast with Paul Guarino. Everyone and anyone, athletes, celebs, and much more.
What's up, everybody? I'm back for another episode of the Average Savage podcast. Our special guest today is Josh Johnson. Josh, how's it going?
It's going good, big dog. Thanks for having me. How we doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Appreciate you coming on. I know we've been working on it for a while. I was trying to get you back in the XFL days, and then, all that got scrambled. But now you're back. I know you just signed with the 49ers recently. How does that feel?
It feels good. Been on the team with this organization two times, other times in my career. Got picked up a week, after halfway through the season, basically. I was on the practice squad. I was able to do some good, showing really where I'm at at this point in my career, enough for them to want to bring me back for another year. So I'm excited about it and just getting the process going.
Yeah. So I know you've been on a lot of teams. What is it like when you go back to a team that you're already with?
It's more comfortable. I tell you that. Yeah. I mean, the familiar faces in the building that still stuck around. Just comfortable with the organization, understanding the expectations and things that what they expect every day that you come to work. And then, but then it's still new because there's obviously a lot of turnover. That's why. And so you get familiar with the new faces, and then just get back to work. I mean, football is football, and just getting in the process of learning what's expected of you, and then meet those expectations daily, and then exceed them.
Yeah, for sure. And if I did my research correct, you grew up a 49ers fan, right?
Yeah, that is 100% correct. 49ers fan, I was diehard. Being from Oakland too, it was kind of like black sheep, because everybody in my family were Raider fans. But I mean, it was pretty easy for me. When I was born, the Raiders were in LA, and then you had Joe Montana, and you had Steve Young. Being a quarterback myself, I just looked up to what those guys did. So it was easy for me to be a Niner fan, and really just always had a passion for the organization. Obviously, once you become a pro, it kind of, it gets a little tricky because the simple fact that you're on these other teams. But when I'm actually wearing this red and gold, it's very fitting.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now just going back in time, what's your first memory of playing football?
My first organized or just playing football, period?
Either or.
I remember in first grade trying to throw it across the yard. And we had a yard, I would say it's probably at my elementary, Emerson, probably about 50 yards, maybe 45. And when I first got there, I couldn't throw it. I couldn't throw the ball to halfway. And then as I kept getting older, I started getting closer and closer to that gate. And then I ended up throwing it over that gate before I left. So that was a big deal for me. But just, that journey being a quarterback, I've always been the thrower out the group. And so, that's probably my first real memory with football right there.
Yeah, that's dope. Now I was going to ask, so you always wanted to be a quarterback? Did you play any other position growing up?
No, we played everything. I played D-line, O-line. The beautiful thing about our Pop Warner system, how it was set up in Oakland, you had to start on the line. Okay. It makes you appreciate the hard work that they do.
Yeah, for sure.
And also makes you tough because, you get contact courage and you're in the trenches and you really understand pad level and all the, the important things of football. So I wanted to play quarterback from the get-go, but they made me play O-line. I had number 73, but I wouldn't change that for the world because it helped build me to the player that I ended up becoming.
Yeah, definitely. And then just going from your high school in Oakland, what was your recruiting process like to college?
I wasn't highly recruited. Got hurt my junior year. Was still small, really small. I was 5'11", 140 pounds at the combine, to be exact. Ran a 4.8, 5, 4.9, 40. Probably looked like I was still in elementary. And then started growing a little bit. And from there, made some plays, but I was still a raw talent. Wasn't a polished passer per se, not from an arm talent standpoint, just from a fundamental standpoint. Growing up in Oakland, we didn't really have a lot of the resources besides one quarterback coach, Roger Theater. Shout out to him. He passed away too. But he taught me the basics, to something to work with. And then from there, just, had Coach Harbaugh, had a local coach, Alonzo Carter, really who I played against, made a reference to Coach Harbaugh about, that I had something. And Coach Harbaugh saw my tape, and he actually told me he knew I would grow. He felt like I was a lot better than what, I was showing. He just saw a lot of stuff that I didn't understand yet. And I was very grateful for him. So when he offered me the opportunity to come play at USD, even though it's not a scholarship, I saw that as a blessing and just really wanted to take advantage of that opportunity, which I ended up doing.
Yeah, definitely. And you earned like All-American there and things like that. What about like during college? Was there like a turning point or any point before that, like you knew you could go pro?
He was honestly telling me, him and his dad was telling me my freshman year that I had a chance to, be an undrafted free agent. And I was like, what the hell are y'all talking about? Like, nobody gonna pick me up for the NFL. But like as I continued to get better, like he started going up in the rounds, and he started just saying it more and more. He wanted, like, he installed a lot of confidence in me. Like I was kind of afraid of the limelight, afraid of the success. I just wanted to play football. I thought I was just like everybody else. So like he kind of installed that confidence in me that I ended up internalizing it, but really didn't know how to show it. So I mean, by the time I left, I knew where it was real. I just really had to get on the right stage to show it. And at the Shrine game, was able to do that. And then from there, it was just a process, of knocking, checking off the list, which I didn't do at the combine. I had a horrible combine, but it was a great learning experience for me though.
Yeah, now just like going into the combine and after that, like where did you think you were going to get drafted? And then like you getting drafted in the 5th round, do you think like that exceeded your expectation or didn't exceed your expectation?
I didn't. I think can I say this? I exceeded people's expectations, but not mine. I felt like I had a talent. I was a top 2 round talent, but I didn't do the things necessary to get drafted in the top 2 rounds. My talent wise could have been I was as talented as anybody out there, but smarts wise, yeah, but fundamentally wise, that's where I lacked, the reasoning for somebody to do that, especially coming from a small school. But it was just me. I think it was necessary for me to learn who I really was as a quarterback. Like at USD, I got away with things because of my athleticism that I really didn't understand how to hone. But me going in the 5th round, really having to find the hard way has made me become a more fundamentally sound quarterback, understanding the proper mechanics of playing the position, understanding when I can use my athleticism because, as we just saw yesterday, you don't got to be the best athlete to win Super Bowl at quarterback position. So just me going the 5th round really allowed me to focus and have that mindset of how can I become good at what I'm getting paid to do, and then use my athleticism as a bonus. So although I didn't reach my expectations, I wouldn't change it because it helped me mentally, get to this point in my journey.
Yeah, I feel you. And then just going into Tampa Bay year 1, just what was like your first game like, and then could you take me through like your first touchdown pass?
My first game, just dressing or playing?
No, actually, yeah, playing.
My first game was my second year actually, and it was kind of crazy because the whole offseason I was the number 4 quarterback, and but I knew the playbook. And then when they ended up making cuts, I had a couple good games in preseason. They decided to go with me and Josh Freeman as the backups to Byron Leftwich. And, Josh was the 1st round pick. So I just kind of, you got the scraps of everything. But I knew the system. So when they came that they wanted to make a change, they told me, are you going in next week? And I went from like not getting no reps to finally getting in the huddle with the starters. And so like that within itself was like a new experience, and really, it really grew me up because I didn't understand the business side of football and the politics that go into football, as people like to reference it as. I just didn't understand because I was coming from USD, a small school where, everything was earned, nothing was given, but and that's not the same up here. It's a little different up here based on situations. And so like handling those situations was a new experience for me. But went out there, threw my first touchdown to Antonio O'Brien on the play action pass off a turnover, and it was exciting, bro. You would have thought I threw the game winning touchdown how excited I was. But it was all just, it's experiences that I'll cherish to this day but they were just lessons. Like, there were just lessons that I needed to go through, more importantly, because it was really teaching me how this world really works in all facets just related to football. So
yeah, definitely. Yeah, and that's a throwback name, Brian Leftwich. And him just him just
man.
yeah, is it weird that like your former teammates are now coaches?
No, because he helped me out a lot. Like,
Yeah.
he took me under his wings, and he gave me so much real game just on how to handle myself as a professional quarterback, especially African American one. So him, like, I've always been appreciative of him. Like, every time I see him, I'll just let him know he was always like a big brother to me. And I'm just happy for him, man. I'm not surprised at the success he's having. I know the players love him. Obviously, I could see him and Brady got a great relationship. So I just think the sky's the limit for him. And it's a natural transition for most of us players to go from playing to coaching, because a lot of guys just want to be around the game. And the next step, once you can't play no more, is coaching.
Yeah, definitely. So I know you've been on a lot of NFL teams, but just like you obviously have to have a strong mentality to just bounce around all the time. Like, what has that been like, and how have you stuck to it?
I love the game. Like, first and foremost, I love the game. So, like, when you love it, you gonna go hard for what you love. Like, we all do. We all, once it's something we're passionate about, something that we can wake up for on our own, we go hard for it. The mental toughness just coming, really just being honest with myself and real truthful to myself. Like, taking the criticism is not against everyone, it's against me, which is hard to do when you're younger, but really say, all right, where can I be better at? And really find ways to get better at that daily, no matter what's going on. And that's just been the journey I've been on. And just really using every opportunity as an opportunity where I can grow as a player. Like, whether it was the UFL, the XFL, whether it's working out with high school kids, whether it's anything that I'm doing, using it as an opportunity to try to position myself to get to the next step in this career.
Yeah, and what's it been like just playing in different leagues too? I know you were killing it in the XFL until it folded.
Experience has been valuable for me. I mean, because, there is no replacement for reps. And so if you're not getting them, you got to go find them somewhere. And if you get cut, a lot of guys just sit around on the couch or, wait for the phone call and feel like they're too good. At the end of the day, I'm a football player. So if somebody will give me an opportunity to go play football, yeah, I want to play it at the highest level at all times. But if the opportunity don't exist, the only way I can position myself to do that is by going to the opportunities that's out there. And so that's what I saw those as opportunity for me to not only position myself to get back to the main stage, but to also get better, like work on the things that just probably got me cut, or work on the things that I know I need to grow because it's going to make me a better player, and really find my niche with it.
Yeah, and would you say the XFL is the reason why the 49ers signed you?
Hell yeah. Like, I've got, as a player, like, the things I got to work on in the XFL was a accumulation of things I've been learning for the past 4 or 5 years, but not playing a lot of games. You don't really get a chance to really own these things. But in XFL is an opportunity for me to own these mechanics, own these situations, and do it not only just in practice, but do it in games and do it in walkthroughs and do it in every little situation that you are able to get as a starting quarterback. So that just really, I was able to put a lot together. And there's, I'm still growing as a player. But like when I had the opportunity to work out for the Niners in August, I told them, I'm like, my goal is to get y'all to sign me. And it ended up working out. So that was really what it is.
Yeah, that's awesome. What advice would you give to younger kids just trying to either get a D1 scholarship or trying to make a pro league?
Be real with yourself, first and foremost. Like, and then once you're real with yourself, like, you don't kill yourself, you just be honest. And once you're honest with yourself, to me, it's not about where you start, it's about always how you finish. Like, going D1 is the real goal, but if you're not gonna get the opportunity to get to the next level, you can get an education anywhere. So that if you want to be able to play at the next level, the first thing to do that is to get on the field. So you want to be able to get on the field, and you want to be able to get somewhere where you can grow, and then obviously still get an education. And then from there, you own that opportunity. You don't look at it as, oh, I'm at this school, I'm at that school. You look at it as, I'm playing on this 120-yard grass field. And your job is to go out there and put it on tape every moment that you can. The expectations will be harder, but expectations are going to be hard everywhere. So the sooner you get used to it, the better it'll be for you when you try to get to this pro level, which every day is heightened expectations. You got to make it normal to be able to handle it.
Yeah, for sure. And I know you mentioned about black quarterbacks before. Like, how could you, like yourself, like help people?
Just being able to speak to them, like that was my biggest battle. Is most of the guys that's training the position, they kind of can't relate to the inner city and really be able to, make that correlation to what we experience and how we have to survive where we come from and make it out of that situation, and then go be basically the face of a multi-billion-dollar organization. Like, that's a huge leap. And it's like, it's not that we don't want to, but it's got to be a certain comfort level there to where we understand what we're getting ourselves into, because we don't come from these kind of environments. And even when it just comes to the fundamentals of getting guys to understand that there's a different levels of throwing a 300-yard passing game. You could throw a 300 yard. Anybody can throw for 300 yards, but it's how you really doing it from the quarterback position. How you playing the game, how you seeing the game. Are you throwing the ball on time? Are you making the right reads? Are you just throwing the ball up in coverage and your receivers just making plays for you and making you look good? So there's really levels to this. And just really, for me, I just wouldn't give you false realities. I give you the real reality and be able to work with guys that will accept that reality. So that, because what you need to know in the beginning will always help you in the end if you're on the right path, versus just trying to put up a bunch of numbers.
Yeah, definitely. Now let's go off the field. I know you're an entrepreneur. You have your own foundation. Tell me a little bit about that. Family First, right?
Family First Family Foundation is, that's our baby, man. Just, it's really been a way to really, for us in 2008, 2007, when actually Marshawn started with the camp, then me and Marcus came in, and other players, Ryan Murphy, DeAndre Campbell, all these guys that made it to the pros, Ferdell Larkins, or had opportunities to make it to the pros, that came up the same way we did. It was big for us in 2000, early, 2007, 2008, to use our opportunities to not only for ourselves, but for our community. That wasn't common. There were people doing it, but it wasn't as common as it is today, where everybody's, now into giving back and really bringing the community together. So to be a part of that process and really get to the point now we have a youth center and partner with other like-minded people and organizations to be able to share, first and foremost, knowledge with our community, and then resources, and then opportunity. It's a good feeling, man. And it's just, everything else just stems from that. Just being able to create opportunity that's not about just making money, but really just about making an impact in some form or fashion for not just yourself and your family, but for others. So it's everything.
Yeah, definitely. Now, I know it's a weird time right now, but do you guys have any like events planned for 2021?
We just did a computer give back, $90K worth of computers, HP laptops with a Oakland Wi-Fi program, and Peralta colleges. And that was big for us. We're doing our online Zoom classes, which anybody can be a part of right now, no matter where they at, as long as they can meet the times, because it's online. So we're just trying to maintain. I don't like it, but it's what we got to do, because everything is scaled back. Like, we can't do our camping trips, we can't do our field trips, we can't do our in-week camps of architect. Like, everything's online, and it's kind of like watered down a little bit, but it's the do so,
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely pros and cons. I mean, but I think that's why it's cool too. Like you just said, like now you could get anyone to join the virtual event.
Right. It's just, getting people to want to buy into that process. A lot of people feel mentally, challenged by this situation, which we all are. And, some people just may be overwhelmed with being on Zoom, which I rationalize it.
Yeah, definitely. It's just a weird time.
It's just a weird time, man. You kind of got to let everybody run their own little race with it right now.
Yeah. Not like I mean, the one thing that I've been saying too, I mean, I think the one positive thing is just like the technologies in general is just like cool to see that like we had and we weren't using.
For sure. Like, and I think that's, it opens up people's minds, and it opened up my mind to the things or the resources that are out here, even for free, that you could be using to make life a little smoother. And so like, I think if you sit back and use this time to grow, I think those people will benefit a lot, especially when the world opens back up and gets back to some normalcy. So I just been trying to use that as an opportunity to really grow.
Yeah, for sure. And then I know you have the Ultimate Gaming League too. Could you tell me a little bit about that and how it came about?
Just started with, 3 guys from Oakland having a similar passion for gaming. Like me, I would throw in Madden tournaments to launch clothing lines in 2013. And like, that's kind of what I do. Like, I've been playing video games since Atari, but I wasn't into the whole streaming and being online and having the right mics and the right lighting, all this stuff that I'm learning about now. And I was just, wanted to play the game. And I was in a Madden franchise, and that was the first thing, my friend who runs it, he's like, you got to stream your games. And I'm like, what the hell is that? Like, what you mean I got to stream my games? He like, you got to create a Twitch. And I'm like, I don't want to create a Twitch. I just want to play Madden, Like, I've been playing Madden my whole life. But that was like my first test of it. You create a Twitch, you stream the game off the controller. That's not really what, like, now with the UGL, we kind of doing it all. Like when we partnered up, we would throw in-person tournaments, Madden tournaments. We had an adult lounge, halftime sports bar. Then we used a youth lounge, Soldier Town in Oakland. And we have little pop-ups, but that was like in-person stuff. But when COVID, we had to evolve and we had to learn how to do this remote thing. And where we at now with it is still throwing tournaments per se. We just had our qualifiers for our franchises, but now it's more of a league for our community. And we had these franchises headed up by NFL players, highlighting, myself, Sidney Jones, Chad Ochocinco has a team, Max Crosby has a team, and we're gonna let our community, play in our league. And on our behalf, we're gonna create a lot of content. And then with that league, we're gonna, help a lot of people, benefit our prizes and things of that nature. But the ones that really take ownership of the opportunity, gonna build a brand. And, hopefully we find the next best talent to pass them on to esports, because we're not esports. We're more gaming, more lifestyle, more culture-based with what we're doing, kind of welcome anyone. But, there will be some hidden gems that come out of this, and we want to be able to push them forward as professionals, And then for us as UGL, we're going to have that athlete franchise model component. My partner, Chuck Johnson, is heavy in the music scene. So we're doing music-based content, like we call them Digi Hangouts. And then we'll have our artists come on and, they'll compete with each other over games, but also we'll celebrate what they're doing in their career fields respectively. And then we'll also have like what we call the UGL Academy, which is for the younger kids, and being able to create, resource-driven gaming opportunities where we not only teaching them, surround them around the right people that's going to teach them, but learn them, understand about production, or whether to understand about PR, all the different business elements that go into this thing. So we got a nucleus of opportunities, not just for ourselves, but for others, which is similar to what, it all stems from what the Fam First motto is, not just, empowering yourselves, but empowering those around you.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy how like gaming is a career now?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome to me. It's crazy because like, people will cuss me out. Like, oh, you play the damn game all night, all weekend. Yeah. Like off season, you want to play the video game. I'm like, why not? Oh, I'll travel on the road and I don't want to go out to the steakhouse. I want to sit in my room and play my PlayStation. Like, no, that's cool though. No, it's cool.
Yeah, no, that's how it's funny.
I'm just happy because there's so many of us do it.
Yeah.
Like, so many of us have been doing it, but it's only been from a consumer standpoint. So now to be able to flip the switch to say, if you take it serious, it's just like AAU sports now for a kid. Yeah. Like, you do it right, you got an opportunity. And like, unlike sports, you don't have to retire. You can do this forever.
True that.
Being real.
All right, you ready for some fun questions?
Yeah.
What's 3 jerseys that you don't have that you want, like any jerseys?
Ooh. Damn. I can probably get it if I asked him. I don't got a Joe Montana jersey. I don't got a Mike Vick jersey.
Ooh.
And the last one? Damn. a Michael Jordan jersey.
All right.
Michael Jordan. And I left some people out too.
Now, those are good ones though.
I left some people out. That's a hard question, but you can't make that a 3-piece. That's tough.
So was your favorite quarterback growing up Joe Montana?
I got the back end of Joe, so it was more of he was like a god to me. Cause I saw him on his way out, and I just knew he was just Joe cool. And I saw all the highlights and stuff. But it started off really the guy I got to study because I was able to see his growth with Steve Young. Yeah. And then when Steve Young got hurt, Jeff took over, and I ended up being teammates with Jeff, so that was cool. Yeah. But then like after Jeff, it was Mike Vick, and it was just like, damn. And like I love all quarterbacks, bro. Like I had a love-hate relationship for Brett Favre. The quarterback side of me loved him. The 49er fan in me hated him. Yeah. Like, like it's always been like I just appreciate the guys that play the game the right way, and just figure like so. Like I don't to say I have a favorite. I really don't. I just kind of like watching guys that really get out here and get in.
Yeah, for sure. And then obviously, I think a lot of people know you're Marshawn Lynch's cousin, and you got to play with them in high school. And then I know you were briefly on the Raiders with them. But what was it like to just play with them in the pros too?
It's just a blessing, man. Like for me, it just felt like we was right back in high school. He's still my favorite player of all time. Like I feel like he shortchanged us in his career because most people never seen the receiver side of him that I know he really was capable of doing. But at the end of the day, like, still the best football player I ever played with in all facets. Just the combination of size, strength, athletic ability, smarts, mentality. He's just a perfect football player. Like, you want that guy on your team if you had a chance to. So I was blessed to be able to play with him, and we were able to win our first and only championship at our high school. And he was a lot to do to that. And when he did the Beastquake run, that run was similar to what he did to win our high school championship. And it's still floating around the internet. Yeah. So, like, it's just a blessing whenever you can play with your family. But, like, to play with probably your favorite football player is similar. And now Marcus is like that. Marcus is probably my favorite defensive player because people don't give him enough credit. They don't at all. But they don't understand because they want him to play the game the way they want it, that they think he should, instead of understanding that his position is cornerback, but he's a football player.
All right. Athlete.
No, he just plays the game from a football standpoint. He's just playing the game to guard his guy.
Yeah.
I can run you off and take you out the game if that's all you focused on.
Yeah.
But Mark understands everything that goes within the game. Even quarterbacks' reads and lingo, that's how he gets so many interceptions.
For sure.
But he gets knocked at.
All right, I got to ask you, you could answer this or not answer this. Would have Marshawn Lynch scored if they gave him the ball in the Super Bowl?
Hell yeah. I mean, wow, doubt. Hell yeah.
I had to ask you just because it's been brought up a lot this week.
I was at the game. When he came out in shotgun, I knew they was finna pass it. I was sitting in the stands. I knew what it was. Hell yeah. Second down on the 1 yard line, hell yeah, he would have scored.
All right, last one. Besides like video gaming and your charity work, what else do you like to do in your free time?
Really, man, just spend time with my kids, my family. Get out. Like I'm still like the active little kid. I like to ride bikes. I like to go hoop at the park. I'm starting. I love traveling more now to places like that's unique. That's not like metropolitan areas, to really get out and experience culture. I'm at that point in my life where I'm really appreciating that. Mother Nature is starting to become more of a beautiful thing to me than it was when I was younger. So pretty much that. Like I'll be chilling though, bro. Like I kind of found my lanes around things that I'm passionate about. So that takes up my time. And then with having 3 kids and a fiance, like that takes up the rest of my time with team football. Yeah. And then everything else is just squeezed in.
Sure, got you. I got one last question. If I went to Oakland, what food spot do I got to check out?
Rob Benz.
What kind of spot is it?
Soul Food.
All right.
ROB, then BNS.
Yeah,
Rob Benz.
that might have been the quickest response I ever got before.
Yep. Pull up to the Benz, man. Go get you some of that. You got options. You got chicken, you got fish. You know, if you go with a whole family, you gotta get the beast mode platter. And then gotta have a whack at it.
Oh man. Well, I appreciate this. And could you let the listeners where they could follow you at on social media?
You can follow me at Headache HEAD 8 CKE on Twitter, on Instagram. UGL World is on Instagram. UGL World. Fam First Fam is on Instagram. Family First Milano, our clothing line. Family First US, all on IG. So you can check out everything I'm doing, but everything is centralized on my page, on my bio. You can really go just really see where I'm at. And obviously, you know, the 49ers is easy to find. So that's pretty much what my life consists of right now.
Yeah, for sure. Wait, how did you get the name? What's the Headache? Is there any story behind that?
It's a story that I'm waiting to tell. Like I kind of gave a general synopsis, but it started with me having a big ass head when I was little. Kind of always being like, first it went from headache to head coach because I was a quarterback and always trying to organize some. And then the headache part came and when I started really expressing my thoughts a lot more. Like I've always been like an outlier thinker, so I make people think.
All right, I like that.
You know, and that's kind of like the Star Wars, Dragon Ball Z side of me, the gamer side. You know, the little nerdy side of me. So when you put them all together, it's like a headache, but it's a good thing though.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell the story when I'm done.
All right. Well, I appreciate this. This was dope.
All right, big dog.